Hello once again on Cowboys Insiders. Today, the Dallas Cowboy 2026 offseason is undergoing. Let's deal with a pressure, a power moves and franchise at crossroad in the Dallas Cowboy in this year. The Dallas Cowboys head into 2026 offseason and NFL draft facing one of the most critical periods in recent franchise history. After yet another season that fell short Super Bowl expectations, the organization is once again under intense scrutiny from fans, analysts, and from the media. With the owner Jerry Jones still determined to bring another championship to the Dallas, and the message is clear. This is no longer about a potential, it's about a result. So a Dak Prescott era in the Dallas Cowboys is the stability or final chapter on the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. A quarterback, Dak Prescott, remains the centerpiece of the Cowboys, but the questions about his long-term future have only intensified. A Prescott has consistently delivered a regular season performance, yet postseason struggles continue to define the narrative around him. As contract discussions evolve, Dallas faces familiar dilemma: committee full to Prescott as their franchise QB or explore aboard alternatives in a rapid changing NFL landscape. Insiders suggest that while Jerry Jones still believes in Prescott, patience is wearing thin among fans who demand a deeper playoff run. So if you didn't make subscribe, please make subscribe for Cowboy Insiders in order to bring and to develop our Cowboy Insiders platform. The next one is a Ceedee Lamb. Ceedee Lamb is offensive superstar calling the Lord. A wide receiver, Ceedee Lamb has firmly established himself as one of the NFL elite offensive weapons. So entering in 2026, Lamb is not just a top receiver, he is arguably the face of the Cowboys offense. After a multiple explosive season, Ceedee Lamb's role continued to expand, primarily deep threat, reliable possession receiver, and leader in the locker room. The Cowboys have already made significant financial commitment to Ceedee Lamb, signaling that he will remain a cornerstone of the franchise for years to come. So that's why the Dallas Cowboys still focusing on a Ceedee Lamb contract. The Micah Parsons is a defensive dominance and leadership. Defensively, everything resolved around Micah Parsons. Parsons continues to dominate opposing offensive with his versatility, speed, and relentless pressure. Whether lining up as edge rusher, linebacker, he has to become one of the most feared defenders in NFL. So as of 2026, discussions about Micah Parsons are no longer about potential. They are about a legacy. Many analysts already consider him a perennial defensive player of the year candidate in the NFL, and also the emotional leaders of the Cowboys defense and future Hall of Fame trajectory players if he maintains this level. The Cowboys are expected to ensure a person to remain in a Dallas for long term, no matter the cost will require for a good player like Micah Parsons. So the head coach Mike Scott continues to face a heavy pressure entering this season. Despite maintaining a competitive records, the inability to translate a regular season success into a playoff victories has raised a serious concerns about the team leadership. So there are glowing whispers that could be make or break season for MC Croft, and a nearly playoff exit may trigger major coaching changes, and the Cowboys could explore a younger and more aggressive coaching options in the future of NFL and Dallas Cowboys. So the expectation is that Dallas will be simple, complete for the Super Bowl or face consequences. The Cowboys have approached 2026 off season with a mix of cautions and urgency. While the care of the team remain intact, several areas still need improvement. So for the offensive line, once a dominant unity, the offensive line now faces a questions about consistency and durability. So strengthening protection for the Dak Prescott is a top priority. The ground attack has lacked explosiveness in recent seasons. Dallas is actively evaluating options to add a dynamic running back who can complement the passing game. While the star like Micah Parsons lead the defense, a depth across a roster remain a concern, especially against an elite NFC offense. 2026 NFL Draft defining a moment. The upcoming 2026 NFL Draft, it represents a critical opportunity for the Cowboys to reshape their roster. So the Dallas is expected to focus on offensive line upgrades, defensive secondary reinforcement, and playmakers who can contribute immediately. Scouts believe this draft class offer a strong depth, so giving the Cowboys a chance to address multiple needs if they draft effectively. NFC competition growing stronger, so the load of the Super Bowl is not getting any easier. Within the NFL, the NFC continue to improve with several teams emerging as a serious contender. This means the Cowboys must elevate their performances to remain competitive among the league's elite. Fan pressure and American team identity. The Dallas Cowboys carry one of the most passionate and demanding fan bases in a sport. Known globally as American team, or which is the Dallas Cowboy, expectations are always high. However, a decades without a Super Bowl appearance have led to increased frustration. Every decision, whether it's contract, coaching, or draft picks, is analyzed in details. For the Cowboys, success is not optional, it is expected. So 2006 could define the future of the franchise in the Dallas Cowboys. As of the April 11th, 2026, the Dallas Cowboys are left at the pivotal moment with an elite talent like Dak Prescott, Ceedee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. So the foundation is strong, but the talent alone is no longer enough. The 2026 season will answer a critical questions. So a Dallas finally break through in the playoffs. Is the current leadership capable of delivering a championship, or will major changes reshape the franchise once again? One this is certain, the spotlight the Dallas is brighter than ever, and the 2026 NFL draft approaches. One thing is becoming a crystal clear across a multiple mock draft and analyst projections. So the Dallas Cowboys are preparing for defense-heavy draft strategy that could completely reshape the identity of the franchise. After another season filled with high expectations but frustrating inconsistencies, Dallas Cowboys is now entering the draft cycle where urgency meets opportunity. So there is the big trend: the Cowboys is going all in on the defense. Across several recent mock drafts, a clear pattern has emerged. The Dallas is targeting edge rushers and reinforcing the secondary, adding a linebacker depth and leadership. So this isn't by an accident. Analysts believe the Cowboys defense dispute and having a star like Micah Parsons who is still in negotiating for contract extensions, it still lacks a depth, consistency, and a game-changing support pieces, especially in a big moments. In fact, a multiple projections suggest a Dallas could use both of their first round picks on defensive player, projected first round target, and big names emerging. So let's deal with some NFL draft mocks in the Dallas Cowboy. Number one is a Kendrick Fox is an edge album. One of the most talked about name linked to the Dallas is Kendrick Fox, who is a physically dominant edge defender. He is an elite strength and run-stopping ability and high upside as a pass rusher. In one recent mock, the Cowboys selected a Fork as a cornerstone defensive piece to pair with Micah Parsons. So if this happened, a Dallas could instantly create one of the most feared pass rusher duos in the NFL. Next is a Dylan Tienman. Another rising name is Dylan Tienman. He is a dynamic safety with an elite instinct, a strong tackling ability, an excellent football IQ, and also he is one who is versatile in a coverage. Some mocks project him going to a Dallas with a top picks, giving the Cowboys a true leader in the secondary. So as Sonny Styles, as we have discussed in previous video, he is an earlier projection. A Dallas has also been linked to a linebacker is a Sonny Styles. He is an elite size and speed combo, a natural leader and high football intelligence. So analysts believes that Styles could become the defensive quarterback a Dallas have been missing. Emerson Dillon is a center back. Cornerback is another key need, especially with a long-term uncertainty in the secondary. Mocks suggest a Dallas could target Emerson Dillon because of his physical coverage style, strong ball skills, and potential replacement for aging or inconsistent CBS. So amid round slips and hidden gems, beyond round one, the Cowboys are expected to find a value in offensive line depth, of protecting a Dak Prescott, and developmental defensive players. So as special teams contributors, a name like a Jacob Rodriguez and Julian Neal have appeared in a deeper mock draft as a high valuable additions. So there is many reasons why a defense is the priority. This strategy is not a random. It's based on a elite team's need. Report shows the 2026 NFL draft class is adept at the positions a Dallas needs, including the edge rusher, a cornerback, and offensive tacklers. That makes this draft the perfect opportunity to load the roster, and some mock draft even suggest a shock move. A Dallas trading into the top 10 picks to secure an elite defensive talent. This would signal all win now mentality and full trust in a current offensive core, and aggressive push towards a Super Bowl contention. The biggest picture build around a star. The Cowboys are not rebuilding, they are retiring around an elite talent. Dak Prescott leading the offense, Ceedee Lamb, superstar weapon, and Micah Parsons anchoring the defense. The draft is about filling the gaps around this star. So based on the current mock draft trends, the most likely scenario is a round 1 edge rusher like Kendrick Ford and a defensive back safety or corner, and round 4 a linebacker and offensive line depth, and also a developmental prospect with upside. So the Dallas Cowboys are entering the 2026 NFL Draft with a clear mission: build a championship level defense to match their explosive offense. So if the mock draft become reality, a Dallas could walk away with a dominant pass rusher, a smarter, faster secondary, and a more complete and dangerous team. And if that happens, the Cowboys might finally be ready to break their playoff curse and chase the Super Bowl. And Shavon Levers Jr. and Corin Carson playing through injuries last year, and the brand is rehabbing from off-season foot surgery. The Cowboys hope Rivera will make a secondary year jump after missing the first 9 games last season, recovering from a torn ACL. This means Dallon was on rehabilitation and recovering from ACL injury. Durant has some experience playing in a slot, which could be a bonus for the Cowboys, but his addition would not prevent them from selecting a corners with one of their first 2-round picks in upcoming NFL draft mocks. Then also, the Sam Williams, he is the defensive ends in re-upping on 1 year deal, which will worth about $3 million. The former Cowboys second round picks return on low cost and low risk move. He had 1 sack last season after coming back from a torn ACL and starting 5 of 17 games. He has credited with 38 tackles and 25 pressures and 6 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery and forced fumble. He had 8.5 sacks in the first 2 years before the injury. So perhaps a change in a scheme under a Packer can up his pass rusher production in 2026. While the trade of Lashan Gally means more for the defense, resigning Williams shouldn't take the Cowboys out of adding more help in free agencies or using one of their top picks on pass rusher in the NFL draft. So Dallas Cowboy also agreed 1 year deal with a maximum of $3 million with a former Charger, Otito Agbonia. Defensive tackles doesn't seem like a major need when the Cowboys already have Quinnen Williams, Ken Duck, and Salmon Thomas. Also plus 2025 draft picks J. Toia. But Agonia can play a role. A Packer wants to keep a fresh rotation of linemen in his defense. Ogbonia was limited to 9 games last season because of injury, but he had 14 pressures and a half sack. He has started 20 career games and 81 tackles. Between 6 foot and 4 and 320 pounds, he has a size to help a bolster on the front. PG Loki, the former Broncos safety, will join also Dallas with 1-year contract. Catch up on NFL free agencies, top remaining players, and grading deals, ranking 32 classes, and lingering questions, and every team signing more reactions. After agreeing to deal with a Thompson on Monday, Aloki is a second safety to be brought aboard. The Cowboys reworked the deal for one of the last year's startup, Malik Hooker, and have Max Kisbell on roster. So the safety group looks filled out. Aloki started 26 games in 6 years in Denver, and he had an interception in the Broncos playoff win versus a Buffalo in this year in January. If the Cowboys believe a Thompson can play the nickel spot full-time, that opens up opportunities for Aloki, who has 174 tackles and 7 tackles for a loss in his career. At the very least, he brings a veteran depth and also can be a core special teamers in the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't really need another quarterback with last year's loan. So Dak Prescott and Joe Milton III and Will Glee under contract, but they brought on fourth arm Howell, who ended last season with Philadelphia after spending time with Minnesota, made the first start of his career against the Cowboys in 2022, while with Washington, and got the wins. For his career, he has recorded 22 touchdowns passes and 23 interceptions. So can he compete for the backup jobs held by Milton last season? Is he just another arm for the off-season program? It's a fly on a guy, and Cowboys would like to see what he has. There is no really risk here. Hennessy essentially